How you doing? Thank you very much, Michael.
Now, Michael, I want to review because this is a new hour and we get all sorts of new callers. I know you told you told us a lot and it was captivating. Men of reality, whether they're good or bad, are very captivating. I found this my entire life. I can't take people who BS me. I'd rather be alone, Michael. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about, Michael.
I mean, I'd rather hear a guy who's an ex-criminal tell me his life story than listen to BS from a guy who has nothing to say. Let me put it to you that way. So I know that what you were saying to me was captivating to me. I know millions of people heard it. Could you summarize in your own words what you said to me, and then we'll go into the God broke you thing? I mean, I'm not asking you to glorify your life. I'm asking you to tell the people what you said to me. You were in jail for how many years?
27 years in 2 different countries and 5 different systems. The federal, state, the Army, New Jersey, New York, Mexico.
But you weren't in consecutively. You mean in different times, right?
Certainly, yeah. Yeah, it's like a mosaic, but, each time.
And you were describing the difference between tough and hard, right? And you're saying anyone could be tough, but being hard requires jail time. Isn't that what you were saying? 28
years in prison with riots, race riots, killings, hundreds of killings. I was in Corcoran. They were betting on people, and they were doing that. They were betting on convicts, which one would win, and they'd shoot the loser. So, yeah, that made me real hard. And growing up made me hard in Brownsville, Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Yeah, but but Michael, you're only 66. There were other Jews who grew up with you who were as smart as you, but they didn't go into the world of crime. They did it in another way. So how did you become a criminal is what I'm asking you.
Well, how did I become a criminal? I'll tell you. I watched the situation with my mother, okay? And I watched how everything is corrupt, okay? Everything is corrupt, and just you got all kinds of politicians.
You're saying that your mother was, in essence, a funnel for money to corrupt politicians and judges. Is that what you're saying?
I would say that. I would say she was Benny Siegel's girlfriend after Virginia Hill in an interim. I'll tell you what she said on Geraldo, that she was raped by 2 guys in Murder Incorporated. She told Benny Siegel, and that afternoon they were both, she told him in Hollywood, that afternoon they were both dead in Brownsville. So, yeah, definitely. She was queen in the New York underworld. That's what the Times and the Daily Mirror, Daily News used to say.
But you were written up in the New York Magazine back in the 70s, isn't that correct?
Back in 1977, yeah. I was written up... all
right, so we've checked it out. So this story is true, what you're telling us. I want people to understand we've done a little checking, and there is direct veracity in what you're saying. All right, so you're a hard man, you're a tough man, you're an ex-criminal, you're a murderer, ex-murderer. You've done every bad thing on earth, and you say that you come out at the other side because you beg God to not kill you when you had sepsis in your spine, right? Isn't that when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you say God broke you, did you have an awakening? Did God actually appear in front of your eyes in that jail, in that hospital?
I'm going to tell you something. That happened to me in Rikers Island years ago when I took my little girl. She was being abused in a foster home. But that actually happened to me. But that's a very heavy experience. But in the hospital in Corcoran, yes, I had a second. In other words, God, in a sense, God spoke to me, and He let me know, listen, you're headed for a hard time, okay? Now, you got a choice now. You can either die in this prison, okay, or you keep having faith in me, and I'll bring you through it. And that hard time, a couple of days after, I had the encounter with the CO, okay, who never came back to my room again. What happened is I was released. I had died that night, and the nurse told me she brought me back. 2 days later, I was released to an ambulance. They brought me to UCSD. And with the great care I got in UCSD, in 1 year, I was there for a year, semi-coma, okay? I was there for a year. Had a doctor tell me that he'd give me the operation, but I was going to die anyway. And I told him, listen, I've been in hell that'll burn the shoes off your feet in the first 5 minutes. I spent years there. There's nobody going to kill me before God. God knows when I'll die, not you, brother. He wouldn't operate on me. I'm not going to give you his name, let him go on his career. But anyway, yes, and God came to me and spoke to me, okay? And believe me, He gave me an awakening. And He just told me, listen, you got to change your ways. This is a part of history. We don't have much time left. Okay, things are going to happen. There's a storm coming. If you don't prepare, if you don't maintain the greatest sanctuary, okay, against tyranny in the world and keep tyrants from controlling it, then we're going to lose it. This is the only.
Wait, you're referring to America, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I am.
Now, so you're a man who was on the other side. You were in the dark side of things. And I asked you in the last hour, do you think that this country is being run by the same type of people who ran the New York that you saw through your mother's, the time of your mother? You feel like they're just as corrupt?
They're more corrupt because there's no, the guys that ran New York when I was a kid, they had honor. They might have done. Listen,
Michael, how many times have I said on this show, I knew that politicians were always on the take when I was a kid. I knew it. I wasn't shocked by it. But there was a line that they never crossed, and that line was treason. And I said that line has been crossed. They would all sell this country down the river today for $1. Isn't that what you're saying?
The fiber of our Constitution and democracy is entwined with treason at this point, in this day. It is. Treasonous acts from the government. People don't care. Do they think they're just going to maintain this country? You think that look at those guys on Normandy Beach. God, if they could only knew what they were fighting for, they might not have showed up, Michael.
How many times have I said it? How many times have I said that they stormed the beach so that we could have Barney Frank in Congress? Exactly. They wake up and they look at the country we're living in. That's what they died for the freedom of having people putting bombs in Times Square and then being given a trial instead of being hung from a lamppost.
And then nobody knows. You know,
they died so that the Navy SEAL is put on trial for doing his job. They died so U.S. Marines can be given a court-martial because they killed someone in a shootout. What do you think about those trials of the Marines? You know how much money I've raised for them, Michael? You must have heard it over the years.
Of course I have. And I cry, please bring Harry Truman back. Where's Audie Murphy? You understand?
I don't know. I think if Audie Murphy came back, Barack Obama would try him as an enemy.
I'm sure he would. Anybody that's a threat to tyranny is definitely get tried. You know, got to get tried for sedition or something else.
So you and I agree philosophically. So when you say you're broken, you say to God, save me and I'll do what? What have you done differently since that time?